Hello, and today we are doing EFL Championship predictions for match week number 5 of the 2023 to 24 season. That's right, we're back with score predictions for this EFL season, and I'd like to just say, before we carry on, thank you so much to the support that I've got on the channel recently. I mean, the last Championship predictions video we did, it was just mind-blowing. 714 views. That is, like, so up on what we usually have. Like, we usually have, like, I don't know, 90 at a push. But to get 700, wow, that is really a lot. So thank you so much. Thanks for the comments as well. It's great to interact with you guys about the Championship. As a Watford fan, I mean, obviously it has the most relevance to me. But yeah, it's really interesting and great to see. So thank you again. If you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? You know you want to watch all the videos. So get that notification bell on for anything Watford related, anything Championship related, anything Premier League related, which of course we just did our Premier League predictions for this weekend coming up. But this is week 5 of the Championship. And before we do get into our week 5 predictions, we are going to just look back on week 4, how we got on, how you guys got on as well. So we did, of course, have the first game of the week last week, Hull against Bristol City on the Friday Night Football. Now, this obviously was a bit of a dead game, in my view. Bit of a not much happening, but ended 1-1. What did I say? Oh, 1-1, because that's just what I do. So, funnily enough, on that same Friday night, I got 2 correct scores from 2 different leagues. The Premier League, 3-0 Chelsea against Luton, and the Championship, Hull 1, Bristol City 1. So, we take that, and we absolutely take that for our fantasy football team for Gaffer Championship, because guess who's in our team? Yeah, Ozan Tufan, the former Watford man. He just keeps scoring for Hull, so thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. The Turkish legend. Ultimately, all right point for that. For Hull, it's okay. Nothing amazing, but you know. 7 points, lovely stuff. What did everyone else say about the Hull Bristol City game? Well, funnily enough, we had a prediction that didn't really come in time for most people, and that is on me, right? I apologise. I was really busy on Friday, just had lots on. So I was trying to get my video out as quick as possible, but it ended up being that I couldn't get it out in time for the Hull Bristol City game, I think, is how I seem to remember it. Maybe it was a bit earlier than that. I'm not quite sure. It said that it was 6 days ago. So it said that it was posted on the 25th of August, right? And of course, the 25th of August was that Friday night. So not quite sure. Was it early on the Friday or late on the Friday? Maybe it was. But we did get one prediction of the Hull game from Douglas. He said 3-0 Hull. So hopefully he got that in time before the kickoff. Yeah, so it was nothing points there for Douglas. But yeah, as I said, appreciate all the other comments. Really, really interesting that. Moving on, we had Birmingham City against Plymouth. I thought Birmingham would win this just because I've been really impressed by their recent form. They've been picking up a lot of wins. I mean, Plymouth have also been quite impressive. Certainly, when they played Watford the other week, they looked quite good. I thought they had some good attacking moments and defensively really hard to break down. But Birmingham, as I had predicted, I went for a 1-0. They did get the victory. It wasn't 1-0 in the end, but it was by the 1-goal margin. So 5 points, we take that, absolutely. Other predictions for the Birmingham game, we had Colm. Oh, sorry, I've just seen Colm's prediction. I missed it. So he did say a draw, actually, between Hull and Bristol. Hopefully, that was in time. But yeah, he said 2-2, not 1-1. So at least 5 points for you. Very nice, Colm. It was right at the bottom. I didn't see it originally. He went for a 2-0 Birmingham City, actually, Colm, against Plymouth, which is, fair enough. It's a decent prediction, but just the 3 points there. And then we also had a prediction of that game from Douglas. He went for a 2-1 Birmingham City. Now, I don't actually know what the score was, so I'm going to quickly check that for you people, just to clarify whether that was a bang-on-the-money correct score, because I, of course, went with 1-0. I think it might be, Let me just double check. Yeah, fair play. That is impressive from you, Douglas. I rate that. Bang on the money scoreline prediction. So 2-1 in the end. And of course, it was Ryan Hardy yet again for Plymouth. But Scott Hogan and Jay Stansfield at Fulham, I remember him. Good to see him getting some minutes and getting some goals. But interesting that. So well done, Douglas. Then we had the game between Cardiff City and Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday. I hate to see it because Xisco Munoz, I love the guy so much from his time at Watford. It's just not going to plan there, is it, at Sheffield Wednesday? And I just worry he's on borrowed time and he could leave and get sacked. And it's just a shame. The squad he's inherited is just genuinely not good, in my view. They just don't have a championship level team. But anyway, maybe if they'd have kept the kind of unity off the pitch with Darren Moore, and I don't know, maybe there'd be a bit more spirit and a bit more grinding out points, but it's just not going to plan so far. But yeah, I did, because of that, think that they were going to lose this game. So I went with a Cardiff City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. He's got it bang on the money yet again. So 3 games down, and I'm cooking. I'm absolutely cooking on 19 points. But yeah, in the end, it was actually a very decent week for me, and we'll get to that. But 2-1 Cardiff, good result in the end for the Bluebirds. Then Coventry against Sunderland. Sorry, I'll just go back to what you guys said for the Cardiff-Sheffield Wednesday game. So yeah, interesting. I think Cardiff-Sheffield Wednesday was unanimously Cardiff, but Colm went for 2-0 Cardiff, and Douglas went for 1-0 Cardiff. So yeah, Douglas, you got 5 points. Colm, you got 3, but look, pretty strong nonetheless. Then looking at the next one, it was Coventry-Sunderland. I thought this would be a tight game. I didn't think that necessarily there'd be too much between the two sides. Coventry have not been brilliant in their start. Sunderland, obviously, just like Coventry, got the playoffs last year. Not a perfect start for Sunderland, I've got to say. It's not been brilliant for them. But they did get the point. So it was, in the end, I think it was 0-0, which I was a bit underwhelmed by, because I thought that was going to have some goals. But I went for a 2-2. But we take that, correct goal difference, so 5 points. Other points for the other people in the comments. 3-1 Coventry for Colm. So yeah, nothing there for you. And also 2-1 Coventry for Douglas. So nothing there for you. Then we have Huddersfield Norwich. I went for a 2-0 away win for the Canaries. Norwich have started really well. It's a bit worrying, I can't lie, when how bad Norwich were last season. A bit like us, a bit like Watford. And now Norwich have been much better. And then you look at us, and we've not really been that much better. Look, I know Valérien Ismaël looks a much better manager than Chris Wilder was, and he looks like he's got the dressing room back, and there's an identity, there's a style of football, and we've played quite good performances in those games, even if we've not got the goals. The results still speak to not a great start, because of course it's back-to-back 1-0 defeats, 3 games in a row we've not scored, we're sat something like 16th in the league, so obviously it's early days, don't read into too much of it, but it's not the best start, and I just hope we can score some goals. And we've brought in this new guy, Mileta Rajovic. I hope he's the man to fire us some goals, because he looks decent, but fingers crossed. So yeah, look, it was a 2-0 I went for. Also, Colm went for 2-0 to Norwich, and so that's interesting. But we had a full house as well, because Douglas went for 2-0. So it wasn't a correct scoreline, but we at least all got the correct result, 3 points. Then I went for a 2-1 Ipswich against Leeds. Now, interesting this one, because talking of Leeds, guess who Leeds have just signed? Jed Spence. Very good signing, I think. And Ipswich, I think I've also seen Ipswich have just signed someone quite good. I can't remember who it was, though. Oh, yes, it was the guy from Spurs, I think, Scarlett. But anyway, the point is, very good win in the end for Leeds United. Leeds United? No, I think it's a draw, wasn't it? Hang on. Sorry. In my head, I've got it that Ipswich lost this game, but they didn't, did they? I think it was a draw. Oh, no, yeah, they did lose this game. I was right. Trust my instincts. Yeah, it was an amazing 4-3 to Leeds. What a game. And, I mean, look, there's still problems at the back for Leeds, and, you know, they'll hope to improve that with the likes of Jed Spence coming in. But, yeah, interesting. Very interesting. I mean, Wilfred Gnonto scored, which is quite topical, really. Quite interesting when you think about the fact that he's been linked with a move out, and I think he's handed in a transfer request, Wilfred Gnonto. But yeah, it's a good win for Leeds. Finally, they get off the mark. And Cardiff, they've not been brilliant, to be fair, but it was a great game. It's a great game. So just the narrow win for Leeds there. I didn't see that coming. I thought that would be Ipswich with them starting the season so well. Sorry, I just said Cardiff. I mean Ipswich. The blue shirts are confusing me. But yeah, no points for me there. What else did everyone say about that Ipswich-Leeds game? Well, interestingly, we saw a comment come from Jimmy Jimmy Ann Taylor, I think, 8030. And they said Ipswich 1, Leeds 3, end of, LOL. Interesting. But yeah, you were back in Leeds. Fair play. Yeah, it did end up Leeds win. It was 4-3 though. And then we also had other predictions elsewhere. So Douglas went for 3-0 Ipswich. Wow. That was unfortunately wrong. Then we had Colm. He went for 2-1 Ipswich, just like I did. So yeah, good minds think alike. But no, not points in our case this time around. Then Millwall Stoke. I thought Stoke would win this. I don't know. I thought they looked quite good against Watford. The win with Andre Vidigal still scoring the goals. I went for a 2-1 away win against Millwall. Again, I'm not quite sure what the score was in this one. I remember some of the scores, but not all of them. So let me just triple check for you. I think it was a Millwall win, you know. Yeah, it was. Kevin Nisbet with the goal. That's a bit of a blow for Stoke because I think they were thinking they were going to get a bit of consistency from that win against Watford. So just shows that we're not brilliant if we're losing to teams that can't win every week. But anyway, whatever. Millwall get the win. I mean, the Millwall were a decent side, to be fair to them. But no points to me there. What did everyone say in that game? Colm said a 1-1 draw, so no points there. Douglas said a 1-0 Millwall. Fair play. No edits in sight. So that's a legitimate, correct score. Very impressive stuff. And then we move on to the next one. And this one is interesting, right? Preston against Swansea. I thought this was going to be a really tight game, and I just thought maybe Swansea are a bit more clinical going forward. I mean, they've lost Joel Pirot, which is a massive blow, of course it is, but I still feel that Swansea can get some goals sometimes. So I went for a 1-0 away win for Swansea. I think it was a 0-0 though. I think it was a 0-0. I probably should have just known that because they're both low scoring. Oh, no, it wasn't. Sorry. I apologise. It was 2-1 Preston. In my head, I had 0-0 for some reason. It was 2-1 Preston. So, yeah, no points for me there. Wrong way round in terms of the result of who was going to win. But, yeah, what was everyone else saying? Well, interestingly, we had a prediction from William Mercer, 4311, that said, a good start for rock-solid Preston at home. 2 wins and a draw so far. So they went for a 2-1 win against Swansea. Again, not edited, I can assure you. So bang on the money, fair play. Like, he commented that. He didn't comment it after, you know. The only thing I will say is the YouTube video that I uploaded was 25th of August. And that was, 6 days ago, wasn't it? Because it was not a week ago, but a day before that. So it's 6 days rather than 7. And if it does say 5 days ago, interesting. I mean, maybe he commented it before the game on the Saturday because there was a Friday kickoff. I don't know. But we'll give you the benefit of the doubt, William. So we move on to the next one. I think it was, Colm. He went for 1-0 Preston. So correct result, goal difference, 5 points, very nice. And then Douglas went for a 1-1 draw in the end, so no points there. Okay, moving on then, we've got the game between the likes of Rotherham and Leicester. I thought this would be fairly comfortable for Leicester. In the end, it was pretty nervy in the end. Like, late goal. I think McAteer got a goal here, but he looks very good. Only 17 or something crazy. Such a young player, but such a talent in that team for sure. But yeah, I think I went for 3-0. Maybe it was 2-1 in the end. But correct result at least. We take that. What did everyone else say? Well, I think everyone else went for Leicester, presumably. But 2-0 Leicester was Colm. Yep, correct result. Nothing more than that. And then Douglas went for a 3-0 Leicester, just as I had. But again, correct result. So all 3 points there for us. Now we move on to Southampton QPR. Now, this was a game I was quite interested to see just how good QPR really are up against the Premier League team that had come down from the Championship last season. And the answer to that question, well, Southampton, we know, started the season very well, right? That game up at Sheffield Wednesday, we just take it with a pinch of salt, right? Sheffield Wednesday, they're not looking too good right now. But at home to QPR, I thought they could be all right. It was actually a bit nervy. It was a bit nervy, a bit more too nervy than they would have liked. But Samuel Edozie with the goal. Jack Colback, I talked about him in my Premier League predictions video because we were reviewing the transfer window. Obviously, he left Forest and has gone to QPR, but he got a goal for QPR. But then Adam Armstrong comes in clutch for my Championship Gaffer team because he was my vice-captain, My captain Teller didn't play. I think he's injured, so that's a bit of a nightmare. But Armstrong, my guy, vice captain, 15 points. Beautiful. So yeah, 2-1 in the end is how it finished. But yeah, I did at least get the result. 3 points for me after that 3-0 prediction. Other predictions, 2-0 Southampton. So just the correct result there for Colm. Also, we had 4-1 Southampton from Douglas. So yeah, again, 3 points. We're moving into the last 2 games now of the week, and then we'll get into my match week number 5 predictions. But we had West Brom against Millwall. I went with a 1-0 away win to Middlesbrough. Oh my days, how much more wrong could I have been? I mean, wow, this was shambolic from Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, they were top 6 last season. They got into the playoffs. I mean, how... They've lost a few players, granted, from their team, like Cameron Archer, of course, now gone to Sheffield United, and other players, and Akpom. It's not quite been as free scoring as he was. But Middlesbrough, wow, West Brom away. I thought that was a sort of fixture to reignite their form. But no, beaten 4-2, conceding 4 goals, getting a man sent off in Tommy Smith. I mean, dearie me. And I've got the Middlesbrough keeper in my team in Championship Fantasy, so he's coming straight out. I can't be having someone this bad. Yeah, it's just not gone to plan. And Jeremy Sarmiento has actually joined from Brighton, and he got his goal. I mean, 91st minute, incredible. So great to see that. But not great to see for our prediction. 1-0 Middlesbrough is what we went for. Don't know if anyone else backed to West Brom, because I can't imagine many would have done. Now, Colm's comment was a bit weird. I assume that he predicted 1-1, but it's West Brom 1, Middlesbrough square bracket. So maybe that's like a 1, maybe that's a 0, I don't quite know. But either way, I don't think that's Middlesbrough conceding, scoring none. I don't think that will be a 0, because it could be, I mean, I guess it could be, but I don't think it is. So presumably you've gone for then either a Middlesbrough win, you've just mistyped a big number, or you've gone for a 1-1 draw, but it looks like a 1 and it's really a square bracket. But anyway, the point is, I think that's not a West Brom prediction to win, so no points anyway. Then we have Douglas, who went for a 2-0 West Brom. What? Fair play, Douglas. Honestly, give me what you think the lottery numbers are, because you've got some of these predictions bang on, and it's impressive for me. Like, 2-0 West Brom. Fair play. I mean, look, the way I have to think of it is Middlesbrough were at the bottom of the table. You know, you could have maybe expected a West Brom win, but I just thought Middlesbrough would bounce back. I thought it'd be their time, turn around their season, but no, fair play to Douglas. 2-0 West Brom, very, very decent indeed. So that's not a correct score, but it is a correct goal difference. You know, I didn't see West Brom win. And then finally, Watford-Blackburn. Oh, shambles. I mean, I talked about how it started so well with my predictions with a 7-pointer. You know, Douglas got, nothing from the 3-0 prediction, and, you know, we also had Colm getting 5 for the 2-2. It started off so well for me as well with a 7-pointer, but then ended so badly because I got 0 points. Nil point on Sunday. West Brom was a bit of a shambles of a prediction, but so was this, because I thought, yeah, all right, we'll bounce back from Stoke. It wasn't a shambles. It wasn't ideal, the performance, admittedly. It was a bit of a damp squib away to Stoke. We couldn't do it in a not rainy night in Stoke, but you know what I mean, that football phrase. But they just didn't turn up in terms of getting the shooting boots on. But that's the annoying thing, that there was possession, there was domination from Watford in that Blackburn game, but they just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And it was a bit of a smash and grab for Blackburn in the end. I mean, they had a couple, very few chances. They have this one chance at the end where Ryan Porteous goes in for a brilliant challenge. He was superb throughout the game, and Blackburn don't have a sniff really. But then it comes from this slide tackle, and it comes from Ryan Hedges. And to be fair to Hedges, he does well to dink it past Wesley Hoot. But Hoot's got to do better there. And then he kind of just dinks it over the keeper, I think, and just kind of chips it and then just smashes it into the back of the net past Backman. I mean, very, very good finish from a tight angle. But yeah, it's frustrating when you have a game like that where you just think everything's there apart from the final goal. And that's a bit of a problem for our team right now, not scoring. Losing the game 1-0 when we had that much shots, 24, that much possession. It was a kick in the teeth, but hopefully it's a wake-up call for those players that if you're going to create, you've got to take chances. And sometimes we were a bit frustrating, you know, just think, shoot, don't try and walk the ball in and do these lovely passes. Just have a pop at the edge of the box, get a deflection, get a follow-in, you can get the goal. But hopefully this week will be different against a different Coventry side that, last season were brilliant. This season's not been as good for them. They recently did batter Middlesbrough, but then they also drew 0-0 against Sunderland at home. So hopefully that's a sign that they might be struggling for goals. Obviously, with them losing Hamer and losing Gyökeres, that's two big players gone for them. But they have, to be fair to them, reinvested the money well. It's not going to be an easy game, for sure, away to Coventry. I'm a bit worried about this one. But in terms of our prediction for that Watford-Blackburn game, 2-0, not a good prediction. No points for me there. What did everyone else say about that Blackburn game? Well, Colm said 2-1 Watford. So again, backing Watford, but no points for us there. And then Douglas also matched my prediction of 2-0. I guess the performances were there, right? We were playing some good football under Ismail. I just hope that we can get some more goals now with Mileta Rajovic. Come on. But we move into match week number 5 of the Championship season. Before we do, let me show you how my Gaffer Championship fantasy team is looking for this week. It's looking pretty nice, I can't lie. Now, I will caveat this with the fact that it is a -8. And I don't like minus points in fantasy games, I've got to be honest, because it does set you back and it means your points total is not going to be very good. And the fact of the matter is I've taken a -8 and I've still got a player in my 15 squad that's injured. I know, stupid, but Jordan Rhodes, it's not ideal. I say injured. What I mean is he left the league, so he doesn't play for Huddersfield anymore, and yet he's still in my bench. But it's third bench fodder, like it's the third bench striker. It's really not that important. But I did have more injuries, right? I talked about the injury that came for Teller, or maybe he's gone back to Burnley. I don't quite know the situation there, but he was flagged basically in the game, and so he had to come out. But also in the week, I'd just had enough of the keeper for Middlesbrough, Seny Dieng. So in came Angus Gunn. So Gunn came in. Also, strangely enough, we also were not too keen, I'll be honest, on having another player like Sarah, right? Sorry, another player like Teller injured. So it has income Sarah from Norwich, right? He's got Rotherham this week, Sarah. Don't mind that at all. But I think we made another transfer. Yes, we did. We did do another transfer. I think we brought in Hughes, which is a bit of a weird one. Don't know why I ended up doing that, but at the time I thought it was right. We brought in Hughes, I guess maybe because Preston are a solid defence. I don't know. But he's on my bench at the moment anyway, because he's up against Stoke, who I think could score in that game. But anyway, we brought in Hughes. Let me just try and check for you people who that was we brought him in for. Oh yeah, Rankin Costello. Maybe I was just not happy with him because he was, time wasting in the game against Watford. I don't know why I sold him though, to be honest, because he's quite attacking. Maybe he was injured or something, I don't know. But this is the situation, right? Sometimes you can take minuses. This week, it is a -8. It's a bit stinky, but hopefully these players can do well for me. I mean, for next week, I have got a lot of money in the bank, which is pretty nice. So yeah, it's 3.1 in the bank. That's the team at the moment. I don't know if you can see that properly, people, but yeah, it's not bad. It's not brilliant either, but it's not bad. So yeah, Gunn is in goal. He's come in for Dieng for Norwich. So I'm really banking on Norwich doing well against Rotherham, but I'm hoping they will. So Gunn against Rotherham, hopefully clean sheet. Then a back three of Pring for Bristol City away to Swansea. Swansea have not been scoring loads of goals. Hoover against Preston. Again, Preston, not a bad defence, but struggling up in the forward line. I know they did just win 2-1, but I'm hoping Stoke can be decent. And the reason I've got Kiana Hoover is mainly because, not just for the clean sheets against Preston, but he's got so much attacking threat. Then we've also got Manning against Sunderland. Sunderland, I did mention, has struggled with goals, but I've had a bit of a conflict here because I've realised I've got Clark in my team for Sunderland and he's up against Manning. So do I bench Manning or bench Clark in this situation? Well, my bench, Rhodes, I'm not going to play him because he's not in the league. Hughes away to Stoke. I think Stoke score. And then Mumba. I've got Bally Mumba for Plymouth and they're at home to Blackburn. Now, that's interesting because ultimately that's not the best of fixtures for a clean sheet because Blackburn looked quite good last week. Maybe they were lucky to score. I don't know. There is attacking upside with Mumba because he does get forward, but it's a tricky one. I think just because I'm not too convinced on the Southampton defence. I mean, yeah, okay, they won last week, but they conceded to QPR. So for that reason, because Mumba's a defender, I just think it makes sense to not change the formation, leave it as a 3-5-2, and have Manning first sub and start Clark up against him. and hopefully Sunderland can score in that game. But we'll have to see if that is the case in the end of the day. But the main thing to talk to you about is the fact that, yes, people, believe it or not, we are playing a chip this week, finally, after the first 4 weeks. Now, it's not like FPL where you kind of wait to the double game weeks. With this, you have to use one chip. I think it's something like one chip every 15 weeks or something, or 3 chips. I think it's every 15 weeks or something like that, because there's 46 games, so there's much more fixtures. So yeah, we have to just use one of these eventually. And I just do fancy Norwich because they're in great form and they're away to Rotherham. So Sarah is the captain, but he's the triple captain. Yes, triple captaincy. They call it triple in the Gaffer Championship team, fantasy team game. So yeah, Sarah's my man. Hopefully Sarah, I think it's Gabriel Sarah if I remember rightly, he will do well, please. But yeah, the defence is now Pring, Hoover, or Kiana, is it Hoover? Yeah, he hoovers up some points, hopefully. And Mumba against Blackburn. Not sure how I feel about that, but hopefully Mumba gets some goals. Then Tufan in the midfield. The reason I've got Tufan starting ahead of Manning, partly because I just what I just said, but also I don't love benching penalty takers, and Tufan is a penalty taker for Hull. Even though he's got a tricky away game at Leicester, he could even get a penalty at any point. So, and Hughes for Preston against Stoke. I think Stoke score. Talking of Stoke scoring, I think Vidigal could do well, so he's my vice captain. They've got Loser away to Coventry. Yeah, not the best of fixtures, but Loser should start. Obviously, he was benched against Blackburn, but that was just because he turned up late to training. Naughty loser, but good to see that from Val. He's making them have high standards. Sarah, captain, as I talked about, triple captain. And then Clark against Southampton. Hopefully Sunderland score in that game. And, Clark is still very good in my opinion. Then Bayo, this is a bit of a painful one because I wish it wasn't in my team. But he still seems to be starting games, strangely enough. Reece Healy has not been anywhere near that Championship Watford starting lineup. It's a bit weird. But maybe we'll see a start for Rajovic. Possible after Bayo didn't look good against Blackburn. But if he starts, he could maybe score. The thing about Bayo is we know he's going to get chances. He just wastes a lot of them the last couple of weeks. But we'll see. He's still in my team. I could always bring him out next week. I don't want to be taking another hit. So yeah, Bayo is up front alongside Adam Armstrong, who's the emergency captain. I mean, Sunderland, it's all right fixture, but I'm going to turn towards Vidigal for the vice captaincy this week. But Sarah is triple captain. Armstrong against Sunderland. And then bench Hazard for Plymouth against Blackburn. I think Blackburn might score, but hopefully Mumba, does get attack and return. Manning, I think hopefully Sunderland do score. Same goes for Hughes in his Preston game against Stoke. And then we got Rhodes, who's just stinking out the bench. So, yeah, it was a big fat red arrow really last week. 57 points. Dieng was 0. Hoover was 0. I mean, just not good at all. They played the games and they still get 0 points. Yellow cards and conceding goals. Mumba, 4 points. Okay, second half clean sheet. We don't mind that. My guy, though, Manning with the assist. 13-pointer. Lovely. Also 4 from Pring. Second half clean sheet. Okay. Tufan did it again with a goal. Vidigal, again, blanks. Okay, whatever. Loser booked. Obviously not ideal when you come on in second half. So 0 points for him. 7 from Clark. Okay, performance bonus. Decent. 15. Armstrong, my guy. Talked about him. And then Bayo for 1 point. I mean, yeah, not ideal because he got subbed off a bit early for Rajovic. So, yeah, not great. I can't lie, people. But we move. We move on to next week. Ranking Costello with a 5 on my bench. A bit annoying, but never going to back against my boys. So, yeah, let's move on to match week number 5, shall we? And let's get into the fixtures because they are as follows. So, first up for the Championship, we've got matches and it's got Sunderland against Southampton. This is the Saturday kickoff, 12:30. Now, I do feel that this is a win for Southampton. As much as Sunderland have some signs of encouragement, that was a decent point away to Coventry. I think at Stadium of Light it'll be tougher, but I still feel Southampton are good enough to win again. I mean, look, they're sitting fairly comfortably in that top 6, 4th place for the Southampton. Sunderland, on the other hand, they have struggled and they are sat in 18th, but I still feel Sunderland will have a good go of this. So I'll say Sunderland 1, Southampton 3. Then we've got Swansea against Bristol City. Now, I don't know really how to place Bristol City because every season they're just a bit middle table and I'm like, whatever. But yeah, fair enough. Last time out with the draw away to Hull. Swansea, on the other hand, they have struggled a little bit, to be honest, and 20th spot is not great. They need a win desperately. Will they get it in this one at home against Bristol City? I don't think they will. I'm going to say 1-1 draw for this close game. Then Birmingham, Millwall. Birmingham, obviously, last week was a good win against Plymouth, I've got to say, and a good moment for Jay Stansfield. They also have another home game, and against a Millwall side that just edged out Stoke, thanks to Kevin Nisbet. I think Birmingham City can get a point from this. 2-2 in an entertaining one. Then it's Ipswich against Cardiff. Now, Ipswich, great start to the season they've had. They did get knocked off their top spot, though, by Leicester, and Norwich are up there as well as Birmingham City. But yeah, Ipswich still very comfortably in 6th, so fair play to them. Now, I do look at it and think Cardiff City, they are a team that, haven't been brilliant at the start of the season. 17th spot for them. I don't know whether or not that recent win against Sheffield Wednesday means a lot because of how Sheffield Wednesday have been. They've been very poor, but Ike Ukbo and Ryan Wintle, they're going to hope to return and repeat that scoreline. They won in midweek as well in the EFL Cup against Birmingham City, did Cardiff. So yeah, wonder if Cardiff can get the spoils here. We'll have to wait and see whether or not they've got the ability to do that. But I think Ipswich are just so strong, they're going to win this regardless. 2-0 to Ipswich. Then Rotherham, Norwich. I think Norwich are going to hit a few here, surely. Norwich have been so decent this season under David Wagner. All of a sudden, it seems to be clicking. And they're sitting second in the league, 10 points. Very, very good start to the season. Rotherham, on the other hand, 1 point from the first 4, and 21st is not looking good, Brev. So I'm going to say 3-0 away win for Norwich in that one. Then we've got a game between the teams Coventry and Watford at the Sky Building Society Arena or something like that. I can't quite remember if that's... is it the Coventry Building Society Arena? I think it is. Let me just check for you people. Because they did obviously share... Yes, Coventry Building Society Arena, bang on the money. They shared their stadium with Birmingham at St Andrews, didn't they, a couple of seasons ago? But yeah, they have got their stadium back, so that's good to see. It's a decent stadium, to be fair. Rate that. Not too shabby. But no, this will be a tricky one, I think. Coventry, a decent size still, despite losing those key players we talked about. There's a very decent sized stadium, around about 40,000 or 35,000. So I don't know, this could be a tough one, but I'm just going to edge towards a nervy 1-0 win away from home for Watford. The only goal scorer, Imran Louza. Come on, my guy. Next up, then, we've got the games between Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday. I still feel Leeds will win this after their win at the weekend. I'll say Leeds 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Then Plymouth against Blackburn. We'll go for a 2-2 game in this one. 2-2 thriller. Hopefully Mumba scores between these two sides, 2-2. Then Leicester against Hull. I feel this will be a game that Leicester win very comfortably because they're top of the league for a reason. 2-0 to Leicester. Then Stoke against Preston. I'll go for a 2-1 win away from home for Preston because maybe Stoke aren't quite as good as we thought they were. Preston, good win last week. Obviously, I'm hoping that someone like Vidigal does do well, but I just feel Preston will win this one. Then Middlesbrough QPR, I'm going for a 2-0 win for Middlesbrough. Surely they can get back to winning ways against this defensively leaky QPR side. And we round things off with West Brom against Huddersfield, the final 3 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to West Brom. So those are my predictions for match week number 5. I hope you have enjoyed. Get your score predictions in the comment section below, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.